Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we've got some absolutely lovely secret rares that we need to be having a little bit of a look at. So let's go and have a little bit of a look at them. And we might as well start off with what is probably the bigger story, so to speak. And that is that we have got the special art rare and the secret rare of Dendra. Now, I'm not expecting Dendra to reach Miriam proportions. I think that's a fair statement. Unfortunately, I didn't expect Miriam to reach Miriam proportions. That is a card which, they really need a pair of cards. A special art rare more than the secret rare, the full art, but still, both of them. They have just sent Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, well, Pokemon Violet really, just kind of into the stratosphere. They are the two biggest cards from the first set over in Japan. I'm not saying Dendra is going to do the same thing, because I don't think that's what we're going to see here. But I'm also not saying that she's not. And this could, this could end up getting a little bit silly. Dendra, our friend of one that's forgotten, we did look at her briefly before, but she is the battle studies teacher at the academy. Naranha or Uva, depending on where you actually went, which game you chose. And we've got a pretty decent card here. We'll talk about the card more in a minute. We need to talk about the artwork. That is what we're really focused on here. And what we've got here is just some absolutely fantastic, redonkulous pieces of art. These are very, very cool cards indeed. If we start off having a little bit of a look at the special art rare, this is going to be the rarer of them, and I would imagine, I don't think it's unfair to say, I would imagine probably the more popular of the two. We've got wonderful Ghidorah artwork here, and I mean, look, if you've played the games, these cards are going to look fairly familiar, because we're kind of outside, we're getting ready to do stuff, and weirdly, she's drinking out of a fountain. Why is she drinking out of a fountain? I'm not 100% sure, but she is. There we go. It is an absolutely stunning piece of artwork. As for the full art, we've zoomed out a bit. We've got you here with another fantastic piece of artwork. We're on a running track, and we're limbering up. We're getting ready to run. It's kind of lovely. I do think the special art rare in terms of artwork is a bit of a step up from the secret rare, the full art. And certainly if we look at Miriam, you'll notice that the special art rare is significantly more expensive than the full art, although let's be clear, the full art is still very expensive. And to be fair, if we have a look at, for instance, the Penny, and this makes me sad because the special art rare is an Okacheke and a phenomenal card, but again, we do see that the special art rare is more expensive than the full art. Now, to be fair, with Penny, it's only like 25% more, something like that. There is a difference in value between the two, let's be clear, but it's not a huge difference in value like that. It is nothing like we see with, for instance, Miriam, where the special art rare is, well, let's just say, significantly more than double. Not quite treble, but significantly more than double. Now, as a card, Dendra's actually pretty good. Choose a card from your hand, put it to the bottom of your deck. If you do, draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. And that little note in brackets at the end basically says, if you don't put a card from your hand to the bottom of your deck, you can't use this card. Sorry about that. But it's not a draw 5, yeah? If this is the only card in your hand, it's not a draw 5. However, if you've got this and one more card in your hand, then what you can do is put that other card to the bottom of your deck and then draw 5. Which, of course, does lead to all kinds of issues of, well, what if you only got one card in your hand, but you really need it? That's a bit of a pain. But what it essentially allows you to do is kind of keep some cards in your hand while drawing some extra. It is a decent draw. It's not phenomenal, but I could see it popping up in a few decks. We're not talking a top-tier staple. We're not talking something like Professor's Research, which has been a staple in something or other since it released and is honestly going to be a staple in a whole bunch of decks moving forward for as long as it's legal, which honestly at this stage, with the confirmation that Sada and Turo are, keeping this going, it's fair to say that we're going to be seeing Professor's Research for a while yet. and there's always going to be seeing a huge amount of play. Dendra here, we're not in the same place. This is not going to be a staple forever and ever. It's just a good card that gives a good option to a bunch of people. Now, one that I am especially happy about here is our Paldean Mudkip. I love me some Paldean Mudkip, ladies and gentlemen. Paldean Mudkip makes me very happy indeed. Now, do remember, of course, that we do have a thing here, and this is what we've been seeing, incidentally, all the way through since Scarlet and Violet came out, whereby, because we've got a new Pokemon here, i.e. a Gen 9 Pokemon, there are actually two different versions of Paldean Mudkip. There are actually two different options here. And obviously, they've only taken one of these to be used as an illustration rare, and they've chosen the non-vanilla one. They've both got 60 HP. One is single energy 10, 2 energy 20. The other is single energy 10, though it is a darkness energy, not a colorless energy. And then we've got single colorless energy, and basically search your deck for a stadium card, show it to your opponent, and put it into your hand. Of course, do remember that we are getting Clodsire EX, and I'm determined to make it work, because Clodsire is the best Gen 9 Pokemon, and I stand by that. So the thing about Clodsire is that actually it's got an ability that just poisons your opponent's active if you've got a stadium. So, of course, having this one to search out a stadium is pretty cool. I will say that as, you know, we look at a two Paldean Wooper here, and I get a feeling I might have said Mudkip earlier in the video. It's clearly Wooper. I'm very tired. I apologise. If I did. If I didn't, I don't apologise for anything. But of the two Paldean Wooper here, this is the best one. This is the one that I would personally choose to play. And now we've got a lovely special art rare of it. And I, for one, am rather delighted. It's pretty cool, ladies and gentlemen. It's pretty gosh darn cool. So yeah, I like this one. I love the artwork. Shout out to Mickey Tanaka here. It actually is it's giving us Sandile vibes. Remember the special art Sandile, or the illustration rare Sandile from Scarlet and Violet? Yeah, that one. It's kind of got similar vibes going on here, and it makes me very happy indeed. Me personally, this is the one that I'm a little bit looking forward to. But there is another one here. We've got ourselves a special art rare of Misdreavus. Aoki here. Aoki, sorry. I need to see it written in Japanese to know how to pronounce it properly. I apologise. But that is another card here that we are getting a special art rare, and it is beautiful artwork, and it's one that I like very much indeed. And this is actually a really interesting Pokemon. It's got the ability, Antoine has translated this as Magical Flick, and they're pretty good at this, so I'm going to go along with it. And essentially what this does is, when you play this from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may move an energy from your opponent's active to their bench. It's actually a really cool ability. What I will say is, it's an ability that is way better with Scoop Up Net, so that you can essentially keep reusing this, and then getting rid of all your opponent's energy. The issue that we have here, and I do think it is an issue worth pointing out, is that actually it's not always going to be good enough. Like, sometimes you're going to play this, you're going to move a single energy, and it's going to be like, yeah, mate, that wasn't enough. Like, moving that one energy didn't do enough, and that's a little bit sad. So, yeah. Might work, might not. You'll have to wait and see. Either way, it's an interesting ability. It's just a little bit of a shame that it hasn't come out at the same time as Scoop Up Net, which would make it better. I do need to take this time, however, to point out that actually I still don't like any of these as much as I like the Fuecoco. Got to be said, ladies and gentlemen. I adore this one. This is the special art rare the illustration rare. It's not special illustration. Regular illustration. The difference, if anyone doesn't know, illustration rares are regular Pokemon, and special illustration rares are your Pokemon EX. That is the difference between them. But yeah, basically, this is good, ladies and gentlemen. I love the Fuecoco. And you know what? These new ones aren't quite as good, although I've got to say, I really, really like the Dendra special art rare. And I get the feeling that I'm not going to be able to afford it. The good news is I did win the lottery on the Pokemon Center Japan to buy a box of Triple B at retail, which is lovely. So, I don't know, Fingers crossed that that's my secret rare. Although maybe there might be a special art rare of Clodsire, and I'm probably going to like that one more. I don't know. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about these cards, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord and chat with us about Pokemon or about anything else. And you can get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Andrew Kincaid, who is a very lovely person who's helped us out, not just as a supporter on Patreon, although they have, but just in other things as well, and just a thoroughly lovely person. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.